get round the Premier League so we can get back to our last section, which also brings us back to Liverpool. And we'll start with Nottingham Forest, who have at least 4 bits of business on the go.
Yeah, fair play to them, because they've not really given us the last window, that one where they signed about 74,000 players, but they're in Europe and renewals have been the name of the game, and they've got 4 done. As you can see on the screen, they've got the manager. So Nuno's got looking forward to Mavropanos or whatever shouting at him or coming onto the pitch and giving him a bashing for the next 3 years or so. Nico Williams, the former Liverpool fullback, he signed an extension. So's Ola Aina, the right back, who we were linked with at one time, and Willy Bowley. So those 2 players have done a year's extension. It is interesting, though, Forest, a little bit, because they're not really signed anyone, have they? And everyone knows they'll have a bit of money that the owner's prepared to invest. They're in Europe. So it will be interesting to see when they decide to pull the trigger. And even that Anthony Elanga Newcastle move is still lingering in the background as well. So everyone's a bit wondering when Forest are going to get going.
Chelsea, however, look to be, for once, linked with more lads leaving than lads coming to the club. I know there's Nicholas Jackson's story. There's a Christopher Nkunku story. Even Madueke, I think. And they have kept an eye on a PSG starlet as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. They've been trying for so many and it didn't really seem to be getting anywhere. But as came up via L'Equipe, that Randall Kolo Muani, the PSG, former Frankfurt forward, they have entered into negotiations. I mean, that just feels like a Chelsea player. Another one who's not a proper striker, but can play wide type of thing, an alternative that way. As you mentioned, we've said before, Noni Madueke, I mean, this was even in the last few hours. Arsenal have been speaking to Chelsea about them around a 50 million quid, which doesn't look a goer now, but maybe coming back to in the summer at the same time. You also mentioned another one there. Don't know if we've got him on the screen, but Nkunku, isn't it? The Chelsea forward who's clearly out of favour, 27 years old. United now in the mix for him, Trev, having a solid look. And that does feel like a Manchester United signing, doesn't it? One who's a bit past his best or it's not worked out, so ends up delivering a massive fee there. But even the forwards they're looking at, I mean, Nicholas Jackson's brilliant. He just keeps getting sent off in every game he plays, doesn't he? He gets the straight red against Newcastle. He gets the straight red in the Club World Cup. So they're looking now possibly at trying to shift him, and Juventus have been linked. But what will you get for the madman who keeps getting sent off like Duncan Ferguson style, but without the fists involved? So it is interesting. And Chelsea, for me, they always bring excitement every window, as we know. But they just seem to be stuttering, don't they, in what they're trying to do right now. I am intrigued to see how the rest of their window unfolds.
You know, there will be at least 1 or 2 things that just have us, aghast with actual delight at the craziness of it, because that's just what they do. Fulham up next, looking to maybe bring back a player and a few other bits and pieces. Talk to us about Fulham and the business they're hoping to do.
Yeah, the João Palhinha, that Portuguese destroyer who went for big money for the second time around, because he missed it first time, didn't he? Now being linked with a return to Fulham. It's been a bit of a disaster at Bayern, and he's not the only midfielder to sort of fall by the wayside at that team. So various reports that Fulham are looking to bring him back with a loan and seeing how it goes from there. So we'll keep an eye on that one. And the other one that they didn't re-sign him, Kenny Tete, their fullback, the Dutch player. I think he is 33, 34 now. So where are you going to end up? Everton. Everton are set to bag him on a free, which just sounds like an Everton player as well, doesn't it? Which you would also think, because he can play right back and left back, it probably puts the move for Kyle Walker in doubt a little bit as well, doesn't it, realistically, if they're going to sign Kenny Tete on a free. So, yeah, Everton and Wolves doing bits. We'll see if both come to fruition.
Yeah, I just got sent something there that it said basically Ibu Kanate had rejected a deal today. That would just be another little wrinkle into our early story. I can't confirm or deny. Dave, have you heard anything on this?
That was what it said in the Guardian article that came out today. But sort of digging into it, none of the UK side have had that. No real developments either way since then.
Cool. We'll finish with Bournemouth and Arsenal in the Premier League. I'm not looking forward to the Arsenal bit, I'll tell you, at all. But let's start with Bournemouth first. 1 in, 1 out from what you happen to have here, I think. And a little bit of Semenyo talk as well.
Yeah, it was an Austin bomber, wasn't it? That Spurs had inquired over Semenyo, but the valuation was too high for them. I mean, the thing is, if you're going to Bournemouth, Trev, not that they want to be, but they're stacked with cash now, aren't they? Because they just got 50 million from Huijsen. They've just got about to get 40 million quid from us for Kirkes. And it looks like, as well, to mention Zabiani, that's set to get done, isn't it? The suspicion is for around 55 to 60 million quid. So, A, Bournemouth don't want to sell. And B, if they are going to, they're going to charge you a king's ransom, aren't they? Because they're flush with cash, even if they don't want to be. So I just don't see this getting done. I don't see Semenyo leaving. I like the player, but he's 25. And the suggestions are they're demanding sort of 70 million as a starting point. And I do like the player, but 70 million for that output is a big stretch there, in all honesty. And also a player that you almost forget is at Bournemouth, or was at Bournemouth, I should say. Max Aarons, the right back, was at Norwich, linked with us many moons ago. He is set to head to Glasgow Rangers on loan as well. I think the big thing that Bournemouth have got, I mean, they've got Trev in and they're looking at a lot of options. They're in this position now. They are awash with cash and everyone knows it. So if Bournemouth come in for your player, 30 becomes 40, doesn't it? 50, 60, and so on, because you know they're flush with cash at the same time. You want to take your share. So I just think Bournemouth are my ones to have a real struggle this year because of the amount they've lost and how they're going to struggle to replace those players as well.
The two last stories were like ghosts of Liverpool transfer windows past, with Palhinha and Max Aarons. That's mad. Yeah. Two players we've also been linked with are Zubimendi and Gyökeres. And Zubimendi, it looks, is finally ready to tearfully turn his back on the mountains and actually make the move to Arsenal. And it's not very encouraging to hear that so is Victor Gyökeres. He is being described now as likely to be an Arsenal player. I would, and I'm going to be completely honest about that, I would take both of those players at the drop of a hat. At Liverpool, maybe not Old Mountain Nonce now. He seems a little bit flaky, but he's a very good footballer. There's no denying the quality that he has. And if he could do a big job for Arsenal. And Gyökeres, I am convinced, could actually tear the Premier League up. Hopefully, I'm going to be wrong if he goes to Arsenal. But again, I wouldn't have been at all sad if Liverpool had ended up focusing their attention on him. Just, again, it's just a feeling. Are these real? These links? Is it finally over the line with Zubimendi? And this Gyökeres thing, like I say, keeps getting presented almost as a fait accompli now.
Yeah, Zubimendi, they've agreed to pay a bit extra to split the release clause, haven't they, over installments that way. He's been around Arsenal headquarters. I think we're all just waiting for the announcement and the mountains in the background in London type of thing to get all that one sorted and confirmed. As it also looks like real expectation that Thomas Partey won't renew as well. So I think it'll be one midfielder in, one midfielder out is the big expectation. But the striker one's been fascinating because this has been reverberating round for the last month or so, hasn't it? And trying to dig a bit on this, because not that we're massively interested in Arsenal, but just speaking to a few journos, I'm not saying it's a battle, that would be too extreme, but Berta, their new sporting director's in charge there, and obviously Arteta's always had a say in how it works. And it seems to be that in one camp's the Sesko fan club, and in one camp's the Gyökeres fan club. But because of the way it's worked and the suggestions of the package that's going to be needed for Sesko, and Gyökeres' keenness to come to Arsenal is apparently set to seal the day, that he's told other clubs Arsenal is his first port of call. That's where he wants to go. That's where he expects to end up. So a lot of journos have that suspicion that it will be Gyökeres that comes in. And a bit like you, I'm I'm fascinated to see how this ends up. Gyökeres speaks to me of no in between success or flop.
Yep.
That's how he will be judged. There'll be no in between. He will either bag goals or he'll look like a donkey pulling a cart type of thing. I don't think there will be any in between. And it doesn't usually work any other way because of the pressure at a club like that competing for the title in that essence. So I am intrigued to see what eventually happens. But yeah, that was the update. A lot of journos suggesting that there is now the suspicion that it will be Gyökeres coming in to the Emirates.